Bison is coming to Street Fighter 6 with a brand new look. Capcom have managed to accomplish the impossible and somehow made Bison look even more cartoonishly evil than he already did. But there is a lot more to his new look than you might think. And in this video we're going to deep dive into the inspiration and lore behind his new design. Bison needs no introduction. As the main antagonist of the Street Fighter franchise, he is one of the most iconic villains in fighting games. His new design in Street Fighter 6 tells a story of a fallen dictator. After having died for the fourth time, he now rides across the land on his dark steed in search of an identity. From the waist down, he retains the same elements of his traditional outfit, with red pants and steel-capped boots. But from the waist up, he now sports a tattered hooded cloak and bandages that wrap around the full length of his right arm. These bandages cover deep scars that run across the right side of his body, from his right hand all the way up to the right side of his face. These scars appear to light up whenever he engages his psycho powers. At the end of SF5, Ryu apparently kills Bison with a final blow from a Hadouken. This causes Bison to disintegrate in the form of cracks of blue light, starting from his right hand up to the right side of his face. These cracks now form the scars that we see in SF6. Pretty sick. Naturally, the most standout feature of his new design is the dark horse that he now rides at the beginning of each match and even during his walk-in. I'm still butthurt they didn't include the horse as part of his moveset, but whatever. There are several parallels that can be drawn with the addition of a black horse to his overall aesthetic. Having a horse at all is a direct reference to a scene in the 1994 Street Fighter movie, where Chun-Li confronts Bison, portrayed by Raul Julia, in his private quarters. A painting featuring Bison riding a rearing horse is featured prominently as the backdrop to the scene. And it's just about the perfect symbolism of Bison, as the powerful dictator that he is, now brought to life in Street Fighter 6. This isn't the first time we've had an antagonist return alongside an animal companion. Sagat also returned in Street Fighter V with a tiger in his initial debut trailer. In fact, there are many similarities between Sagat and Bison's return, as both characters feature animal companions, wear dark tattered clothing, and have scars from a fight with Ryu. There are also definitely some Darksiders fans over at Capcom because of the striking resemblance between War, the main protagonist of Darksiders 1, and Bison. Seriously, it's kind of uncanny. But I think the more interesting aspect to this is the potential connection between Bison and the 4 Horsemen of the Apocalypse. The 4 Horsemen of the Apocalypse are symbolic figures described in the Book of Revelation, in the New Testament of the Bible. They are depicted as heralds of the apocalypse, and each represent different disasters associated with the apocalypse: conquest, war, famine, and death. Conquest is the name of the rider of the white horse, and represents the spread of false religion and prophecy. He wears a crown and wields a bow and arrow. War is the name of the rider of the red horse. He represents conflict and bloodshed, and wields a great sword, serving as the inspiration for the protagonist of Darksiders 1. Death is the rider of the Ashen Horse and represents, death and destruction. He wields his trademark scythe, and acted as the basis for the protagonist for Darksiders 2. And Famine, the rider of the Black Horse, who represents scarcity and hunger. He carries a pair of scales as a metaphor for imbalance. I believe Bison's Black Horse connects him symbolically to Famine. Bison in his current state is completely devoid of an identity, tying him to the themes of scarcity. He is also hungry, not for food, but for power, as it's been his primary motivation from the very beginning. As for the balance scales, it may be a hint towards Bison's internal struggle, as there are signs that he's undergoing a moral and power conflict within himself.
Show me your worth! I will tame you in due time!
Up until now, Bison has always been associated with psycho power, a dark and malevolent energy source that is fueled by negative emotions and portrayed as a purple flame-like aura. but in Street Fighter 6, a lot of his attacks incorporate a teal-colored flame instead of the usual purple. This is potentially hinting towards it being soul power, as opposed to psycho power. Soul power is the antithesis of psycho power. It's fueled by positive emotions as opposed to negative, and is wielded by Rose and Menat. Soul power is rumored to have been the original psycho power before it became corrupted by Bison's influence. This was even hinted at during Rose's ending in Street Fighter Alpha. Following his defeat yet again, there appears to be a trace of soul power that lay dormant within Bison. Now that Bison has been reset in Street Fighter 6, so to speak, there is an internal conflict between the two opposing energies, posing a potential moral dilemma for Bison between the positive force of soul power and the negative force of psycho power. It's clear that a lot of thought has gone into Bison's redesign in Street Fighter 6, but there is a certain piece of key art that I'm confident was actually the influence behind his new design. Here it is. It's unused concept art for Bison in Street Fighter 4, and it's about as on the nose as it gets. Everything from his tattered clothes, exposed chest, long hair, and even the missing kneecap on one of his boots all point to this being the primary reference the developers used for Bison's redesign in Street Fighter 6. It does make you wonder what other concept art could be hinting at future characters. For example, this is unused concept art for Rufus in Street Fighter 4. I'm not a big fan of Rufus, but if we got another member of the Hobo Squad alongside my boys Ryu, Ken, Akuma, and now Bison, I'm down. But what are your thoughts on Bison's new look? Do you love it or do you hate it? Or would you have preferred if Bison just stayed dead? Let me know in the comments below. It's possible that this version of Bison could be a vessel or clone, but I'm not entirely convinced since the scars seem to carry over from SF5. But I suppose we'll find out either way when Bison drops June 26th. Leave a like as always if you learned something new, and subscribe for more on Street Fighter 6. Take care, and I'll see you in the next one.